Welcome to Inspired by Terry. Thank you for stopping by my channel again. And I am excited to share with you today. We're going to talk about change. There's two things that are constant in life, and they are change and time. And today we're going to talk about change. We all go through change. Some changes are welcome and some changes aren't. Some people go through change in the loss of a loved one. It could be a parent. It could be a child. I have never lost a child, so I can't say I know how it feels to lose a child, but I can just only imagine it's devastating. And then there are people who might get stuck there and, God, why did you take my child from me? They were so young. I wasn't finished with them yet. And you can't get stuck when we go through changes. And I'm here just to try to encourage people and say that if you lost a child, you never know what the plan is and why it was allowed to happen to you. But I'm sure that when you go forward and you look back in retrospect, you'll see that it brought a change in you, that you were able maybe to help somebody else in the future who lost their child, or it made you stronger to be a better parent for your other children. If you didn't have any children, if that was your only child, there was some way that I'm sure it benefited or it made you better. Some of us suffer change with a loss of a spouse. Our husbands may have died, a husband may have died, and you thought, how am I going to make it? How am I going to go on without my husband? I love him so much. And then you'll see that if we just trust God and stay connected to God, that He will lead us and guide us through this pain or this season that's only temporary. Some of us suffer change through a loss of a spouse, through divorce. I've been through a divorce in the past, and that was something I never wanted to happen. You see so many people get married and divorced, and I said, it's not going to happen to me. I'm going to be married forever. My 2 children and my husband, we're going to be like the happy little family. But that's not how it worked out, and I don't know why, but it happened, and it was devastating. I didn't know how I was going to work myself through it or how the finances were going to work out, but God turned it around and He made that situation doable. And fast forward 15, 16 years, it benefited me. Now I'm happily married once again, and to a person who I feel is my soulmate. And it's just like we don't know why change happens, but when it comes, we have to embrace it and we have to trust the process. Someone could have lost a parent. There's all kind of changes that come through our life. It could be a loss of a job. I've lost a job in the past, and I was devastated. But you know what? On the other side of that job was a better job, and with more money, and it worked out for my good. So I just wanted to share with you that even though change is inevitable and it happens to us all, whether we want to or not, we can't put a stop on it. We can't resist it. We can't change it. So we just have to allow ourselves to go through it with a good attitude. Okay? And in Ecclesiastes 3:1 it says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. So that means that every season, everything that we go through in life, there's a time for it. And we just hope that when it happens, that we will learn how to embrace change gracefully. So we have to learn how to let go of the old and welcome the new. Surrender to the change. Don't try to stop it. You will only frustrate yourself a little further. And we have to trust the process and learn how to manage it. But most of all, we need to trust the Lord, and we need to love ourselves through it. We have to be good and kind to ourselves and say, this, it wasn't your fault. This change didn't happen because you did something wrong. And going through change, your perspective in change is everything. How you look at what's going on in your life at that moment is going to determine how fast you come through it and how your blessing on the other side is going to be prepared for you while you're going through the change on this side. Everyone experiences in life, good or bad. Every experience in life that's good or bad is for purpose, to bring a change, an expected end to you, for you to fulfill your destiny in life. Imagine going down the road and you're making a trip, a road trip. Just say you're going to California somewhere, and all of a sudden, before you get on the deserted road, you get a flat tire, and you're still kind of near town, and you're still kind of near not the auto body, but the mechanic shop, and so you're frustrated, like, oh no, here's a detour. You weren't expecting it, but it happened, and you're like, oh, not now, I'm all packed and ready to go. But you go, you take your car, you get your tires fixed, they mount them, they rotate them for you and tell you what's going on, and you pay the price for your tires, and you're saying, oh wow, that set me back like $300 or $400. And then you say, okay, let me do this again, set out on the road again, on your road trip to California, and maybe 2 or 3 hours down the road, you come to a place where the terrain is rough and the roads all tore up and there's big boulders, and if you would have went through with the tires that you had that were kind of bald, you would have been further out of town. You would have been kind of stranded on a lonely road, and it would have been worse. So God allowed that detour prior to that because you couldn't see what was up the road, that you were going to be by yourself, and it was going to be kind of impossible for you to get to a mechanic to help you change your tires. So we have to, that was probably a bad analogy, but we have to learn how, when detours happen in our life, to say, okay, this is for a reason. While I'm being detoured, or while I'm being delayed here, that God has something that's happening for me, to learn a lesson in it, to make me better, or He's preparing me for something that's up the road a little bit that I can't see, but He can see, because He can see everything. So we have to really learn how to embrace change and say, okay, and when detours happen, okay, that this is good. This is good for me. So every experience, whether it's good or bad, is working for our good. So we have to make the best of what remains. Don't get frustrated and don't get down on yourself and woe is me. And we have to turn our wounds into wisdom. How can I make this situation better? And we have to make our difficulties and take our difficulties and turn them into opportunities. And most of all, we have to keep the faith. In Jeremiah 29:11 it says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." So God has plans for us, no matter what change we're going through. And He wants us also to plan our life. Plan for your life. Plan for a new day. When the year ends and we have a new year coming, that's a perfect opportunity for us to say, you know what, I don't quite like the way last year went. I don't like the way that I was living, from paycheck to paycheck. Maybe next year you can plan. This is the year that I'm going to get out of debt. This is the year I'm going to lose that 30 pounds that I want to lose. This is the year I'm going to get organized, or this is the year I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. We have to learn how to plan. And when we plan, that's the best change, because change is going to happen anyway. So the best change is when we initiate it. So when we plan our life, it kind of makes it a little smoother. So I just want to say to you, make the most of your time. Don't allow others to waste your time. Time is precious. Time is valuable. Plan for change. The best change is the change that we initiate. I said that to you. If you're not happy with where you are, change. It only takes vision, thought, and write your plans down and execute them. Turn the TV off. You know, time is so precious, and we waste our time with such trivial things that are not even fruitful. We hang around and hang around people who don't speak into our lives. There's no fruit. There's no fruitfulness. There's no growth. Stretch yourself. Pull yourself. Maybe go back to school if there's something you want to do and learn. Take a new hobby. Always plan for change. Just stretch and pull yourself to something bigger and better than you are right now. And in Proverbs 16:9, it says that the heart of a man plans his cause, but the Lord determines his steps. I like that. That no matter what we do, we can plan, but God is the one who ultimately determines our steps. He said, because the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, we have to consult him in everything that we do, because he loves us and he does have a plan for our life. So in 2 Corinthians 4:16-18, it says, therefore we do not lose heart, though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but what is unseen, knowing that what is seen is temporary and what is unseen is eternal. That's good. So let's fix our eyes on the eternal things, and everything that's right in front of us, and things that we can see, we know that they're only temporary. And don't lose heart. Trust God, because he is faithful. And last, I just want to leave with you a little thought. It says that there seems to always be a guarantee in life that change will happen. Change is something we tend to fear and become anxious about because we do not feel in control. The good news is that God has a plan for your life, to bring you a hope, a future, and to prosper you. If we trust in God and allow the change to grow us, to become more like Jesus Christ in how we respond and how we act, then we are promised that all things will work together for good to those who love God and to those who keep his commandments. So I want to say thank you again for watching. Subscribe below if you like what you heard, and may the peace of God be with you, and may his grace smile upon you.